So we're going to go ahead and get started, but one of our last speakers might be struggling in here in a few minutes. Thank you so much for coming to one of the events for CF Studios Launch Week. We're really excited to be the in-house media hub here at Capital Factory, getting off the ground. And we're really excited to host some of these AMAs throughout the week as we kind of dive into the media world and the importance for different legs and arms all coming together as a part of that world. So thanks for joining us for Let's Get Social, how to build buzz around your brand and getting the most out of social media. We have a powerhouse team of panelists today, so I'm really excited to introduce just a few of them. Mr. JD Chang over there in the corner is founder of Social Matters here at Capital Factory, and the Accelerator is an accelerator company that discovers and nurtures social media audiences into leads. Previously, JD worked on the HBO show Entourage, produced a feature film starring Gary Bissey, and helped launch a designer women's high heel shoe company in Taiwan. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Yeah, exactly. Ms. Chelsea Deshano is the social media community manager at Main Street Hub. Since graduating UT a few years back, Chelsea has worked in most forms of media as a journalist, public relations specialist, and now as a social media manager for dozens of small businesses nationwide. She's learned several ways to make your small business stand out and taking the time to interact with your customers, especially on Yelp and other review sites, is one of the most important. And then these two fine ladies over here, Miss Brittany Schulman and Molly Steer, they're the co-founders and editors of Burnt X, the University of Texas' first digital-based publication. Both have done waves in the digital world. Molly has worked for Wendy Davis's campaign, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about the importance of Snapchat in today's social media world and how to be a person with your brand and developing that. So first off, let's have Molly and Brittany. Slow clap.
Hey guys, thank you guys all for coming out. I'm Brittany and this is Molly. And today we'll be going over a little bit about how to be a person on social media, how to have a voice on all of your social media accounts, how to interact with your followers, build an audience, and also how to use Snapchat, which is one of the new social media tools that's super crucial to building a brand. So starting out, a large majority of people in the 18 to 24 demographic are using smartphones. Right now, if you look to the chart on the left, it's from Nielsen, and 85% of smartphone users are in the 18 to 24 age range. And a lot of startups or brands or companies are trying to market towards this demographic, super crucial demographic for many companies to get their message out there, to help build their brand, to get people active using their product, using their service, but it's a super crucial demographic. Now, we know that a lot of people in the 18 to 24 age range have smartphones, and we also know what they're doing on them. So if you look to the chart on the right, this looks at some of the most popular social media tools. The most popular social media tool among the 18 to 24 demographic is Snapchat. 45% of the users on Snapchat are 18 to 24. If you add in the 24 to 35 age range, that brings up 71% of people on Snapchat are in that demographic, which is a crucial demographic to cater to when you're building a brand. Also, you have your more common social media tools like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Vine. These are all tools that are super popular with the millennial generation. And studies have found that the #1 thing that people are doing on their smartphones is using social media. So if your company or your startup is on social media, you're able to access many, many users and a larger audience than you have been able to do before. You used to go online and get messages from your desktop computer, which wasn't as portable as having a smartphone. But now with a smartphone, you can be in your user's pocket and in their mind at any given time.
All right, so how do you even reach us? I'm 21, I'm a millennial. How do you find me? I'm on Twitter, I'm on Snapchat, I'm on all of that. So it's really kind of as simple as finding them and talking to them. Find them, get on Twitter, talk to them, tweet at them. So how do we fit into this, me and Brittany? So we're both UT students. We both saw that there was a missing element to the UT media scene in the sense that there wasn't any media representation that was really capitalizing on digital platforms, which is where we're all at all the time. And so we created this new website called Burnt X, and we've built our following strictly from social media. So that basically means going through hashtags, going through lists on Twitter, and literally just reaching out to people and just being like, hey, what's up? Like, let's send you a GIF. Let's send you funny stuff that like kind of brightens your day, and just kind of having that light element to being a person on social media.
So like Molly mentioned, it's pretty easy to find us. Most people, like Molly said, she's 21, I'm 20. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Snapchat. So we're pretty easy to find. A lot of the tools we're going to talk about and mention, they are specific to Twitter, just because a lot more millennials are on Twitter than on Facebook or LinkedIn. So one of the big things that Molly mentioned is using hashtags. So let's say you're a service let's say you're geared towards teachers. You can go through and look at, for example, in Texas, like the hashtag higher ed hashtag, or just hashtag education. Find hashtags that are crucial to the people you'd want to cater to. So that's how you go ahead and find your audience. Now, once you find the people on these hashtags, you want to go ahead and talk to them. Tweet at them. Like Molly said, you can send them a GIF or some sort of comment. Reply to people's tweets. Talk to them like you're a person. And when you do that and you find these people on these hashtags, you start to build an audience. As you build an audience, they'll follow you on your social media accounts, and you'll follow them back. And now you have the ability to interact with even more people. It's like a positive feedback cycle. The more people you find, the more people you interact with, the more content you have, and the faster your brand's going to grow. So also on Twitter, you can look for Twitter lists, which that's when a person will go through and say, okay, these 20 accounts are news accounts that I like. They'll create a list. So you can search for Twitter lists that might be important to your company. Find, lists regarding important people in education. Follow the Twitter list and you'll see everyone's tweets. Stuff like that, you can find the people you want to be your audience. And when you're building your audience, it doesn't matter if you're already launched or if you're trying to launch, whatever phase you're in, building your audience is crucial. For example, if you haven't launched yet, you can build a following on social media before your product or your service or your website even goes live. So that way people are anticipating your service or your product. And if you've already launched and you're already existing, you can continue to build your following and get more people using your service or your product. Also, when you're trying to find people, you can go and find influential people on Twitter or Facebook, follow them, friend them, tweet at them, share their posts, stuff like that. The more you interact with people, the more people are going to see who you are, see what you're about. And for example, let's say you tweet at Governor Greg Abbott about something, and he happens to retweet you or share your Facebook post. Right there, you just got so many more eyes on your tweet, on your Facebook post, whatever it was. And in doing that, you're able to gain a wider audience, because a lot of people, or some people, will respect Greg Abbott. They'll think that, oh, if Greg Abbott is endorsing this, I should endorse this too. So then they'll follow your page, they'll look at your website, and there you go, you're gaining more traffic and more traction. Now, when you are interacting with people and you are talking to people, once you find them, you really just have to talk to them, which it is pretty simple. Just act like you're a person. Your company's social media account should feel like it's just a person running it. A lot of the times it's so intimidating when you're like hiding behind a brand, like, oh, I have to be this professional way, I need to be this certain way, everything needs to sound uniform across the board. And it really doesn't. For example, in our social media accounts, there's the two of us running it, along with our third co-founder, Sunny Zone. And people that know us super well can tell when different people are tweeting, but for the most part, it looks cohesive, the tone is the same throughout the tweets, and that's what's important. So have fun with it. Social media is a fun thing. It shouldn't be this thing that's taken crazy seriously. If you have too much personality on your account or your social media editor is going a little rogue, then you can go talk to them, pull things back a little bit, and for the most part, no harm is going to actually be done. So it's better to put yourself out there and have personality, because that makes people want to engage with you on your accounts, with your product, with your service, and it helps you really build your brand.
All right, so to elaborate a little bit on Snapchat, my personal favorite. So some either surprising or not so surprising facts about Snapchat: 100 million daily users, 400 million daily snaps. 71% of us are aged under 25, and 45% of us are 18 to 24. And as Brittany said earlier, I think it was over 70% that was 18 to 35. So there's a lot of people on it, and a lot of people or a lot of companies are taking advantage of it. So like a couple of favorites that I have, Taco Bell is really funny and really great. So if you were to like add them for a specific example, they're good. And then then Burnt X. We do stuff on Snapchat as well, and it's actually garnered a pretty decent following on the UT campus as a way that you can tell that people of our age are really into that. So real quick, we'll do a demo just in case. We did a Snap story earlier to kind of give you an example. So, oh yeah, we need to do the thing where you can see it.
Yeah, just pull quick.
Yeah, I'll pull it up real quick. Quick time. Okay, cool.
And hit record.
Okay, great. So, this is kind of jarring. Okay, so I'm gonna take a picture, and this is for some of you who have never even used this or seen this before, but so forgive me if you know kind of the basics. But what you can do with Snapchat is you can type stuff just using your keypad. You can draw and be fun with it. You can go through different filters, like so. They have the degrees, they have the time, they have cute little location tags, little icons that you might want to take advantage of as well. Also, you get to dictate what or for how long the snap is. And then once you decide that that's what you want, you go to your story, which for those of you who are not familiar with the story, it basically means that it accumulates a set of snaps that any user that is a friend of yours can view for up to 24 hours. So for example, earlier today, we did one of Capital Factory. Let me see if I can miss. Can you
I don't
play the sound on here?
The sound on your computer.
Oh, is that just me?
It might just be how it's hooked up.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's basically us introducing ourselves and then me going into Capital Factory. We're giving a tour.
And if you guys add burnt_x on Snapchat, you have an account. You can see the whole thing here too. So.
They did this like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. And that's lovely Ashley explaining what Capital Factory is, so that's how you get the informative element in there. And then a quick link towards the end of your stories, and that gets people interested. And then that's what I just took. So that's an example of what a Snap story would look like. And you can kind of cater it or tailor it specifically to whatever needs and whatever vibe you want to portray to your audience. So, okay, my face again. Cool. Great.
And with Snapchat, it can be something just that's loosely tied to your brand or your product or your service. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, let me snap you a picture of my product. Here, go buy my product. You can engage your base just with stuff like that. That it's part of your voice, it's part of your personality, and it's something that's fun that will get people to want to add you on social media.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Thank you for listening to us. And if you have any questions or anything, I know we're doing an AMA towards the end, so you can shoot us questions then or now. So, thanks. Is that you? Okay. Let me do this. Full screen.
Let's see in here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you set up. No.
Do you want me to run your slide while you're talking?
There we go.
Oh, you can. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get to. Sorry. Is that okay?
You can just click on it. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
It's not super interactive. Yeah. So my name is Chelsea, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about how interacting with your customers through online reviews can really help your business. I respond to reviews on behalf of my customers I manage right now every day, hundreds of reviews a day, and basically, I think it's a tool that business owners often forget is a tool. A lot of people think a review is just something that happens to you, like, oh, I got a 1-star review on Yelp, this sucks. It's actually a tool that you can really use to your advantage, and a lot of business owners forget that. When you respond to your reviews, you're letting your customers know that they're being heard, which is a makes a huge impact on them. And it's something that I think every business owner should be taking advantage of, because I've seen like firsthand how it can make a difference for your review and your customer rating on different review sites. So next slide. Just so you know, 82% of your customers consult your online reviews before they decide if they're going to go to your business or not. That's a huge number of consumers or potential customers, and it's a huge thing that you should be taking advantage of. So just an example, this is a review that was left at one of my restaurants in Santa Fe. It's just this person saying, oh, I was road tripping and stopped in for brunch because it came highly recommended. It's cute and warm. My sister enjoyed her sandwich and soup. My husband had biscuits and gravy. The only reason I want to give them a 3.5 is because they forgot my sister's coffee after telling her they were making it fresh, and my husband's side order of bacon, which they charged us for, but then removed. So overall, this person had like a pretty decent experience. All the mistakes that were made were fixed, but they still only gave a 3-star review. So I responded and wanted to immediately apologize for that bacon and coffee mishap, but I pointed out that we did resolve that for them. So with that being said, we're thrilled you and your family enjoyed everything from the omelet to the biscuits and gravy. I always make it a point to ask a question at the end of my reviews to keep them engaged. So Chicago to Phoenix is certainly a long distance. How'd the rest of the trip go? That just showed that I was paying attention to the review, that I actually read the whole thing, and I care about their experience. So she updated it to 4 stars, a whole nother star up. Updating my last review based on the fact that the owner contacted me via Yelp to personally follow up on mine and my family's dining experience. What a fantastic and genuine way to run a business. I admire your appreciation for Yelp and Yelpers, and it's evident that you care for your restaurant and its customers. Awesome. So even though it's still not a 5-star review, bringing that up just 1 star makes a huge difference in your overall Yelp page rating. And now that's also on their page. So everyone else that comes to their page now is going to be like, wow, this restaurant responds to all their reviews. So that's just one example. This one wasn't an updated review. This was just like a flat out 5-star. But in this middle paragraph, it says, reading through the reviews and seeing some of the negatives, I have to laugh. My wife had a restaurant, you can tell the Yelpers are having a bad day. This is actually a really good point. Negative reviews can actually be helpful for your business. So it's easy to get frustrated or scoff at some, especially if it's like one tiny complaint or something pretty insignificant and they give you a bad rating or like a horrible long review and you're just like, oh my gosh, come on. But all the other customers that are looking at your page, they know the difference between a real complaint and something that's nitpicky. So it's actually really helpful to get both positive and negative reviews because people can discern between the two. Anyway, so this one also pointed out, after saying how negatives are kind of dumb sometimes, say, I like the fact that Millie's Kitchen answers reviews, good and bad. It shows they care about what people think. And then they went on to describe their experience, which was awesome. And then this one, the 1 star, the original review, actually, he ended up deleting it after we responded, which is even bigger than just upgrading it because 1 stars are make a bad impact on your overall rating. But this is actually for an auto shop, and the guy had some kind of bad experience. And so again, reached out with a response, which was deleted. But after this happened, I responded, the business owner made sure to call him as well. And so then he came back and wrote this 4-star. I appreciate any business in which an owner takes the time to listen and understand where a customer is coming from. After our interactions and finding an agreeable solution, I would recommend this garage as a place for anyone to get his or her automobile worked on. So that just went from a 1-star, like never coming back, like horrible, gonna spread horrible word of mouth. That went to a 4-star review, which helps their rating, and a recommendation for anyone to go to that shop, which is a huge thing, and it all came from responding to his negative review. So basically, I just wanted to kind of point that out, and how negative reviews, like, even though it's hard to read them, it can be like personal, it can be rough to read them. It's really important to come up with a professional response and kind of work through your feelings to come up with an agreeable response. And it's also important to defend your business, because you don't want to always just like lay down flat and like give the customers like free stuff all the time or something. It's important that if you know you did a good job or whatever, defend yourself, but in a polite way, and still make sure that they're being heard. And it really will make a difference. And then just this last example is a 4-star review. The food is great, and then my only complaint is how ridiculously early they close. Seriously, 8 p.m., what place that serves alcohol closes at 8? I took a star off for this reason alone. So again, just kind of a nitpicky thing, but still responded. We always want to point out the positive. When it's an overall positive review, I like to point out the positive, because they did have an overall good experience. So I'm like, we're glad to hear, we're your go-to spot. We always love seeing you. And then addressing their complaint. I know you wish we were open later, and I'm sorry for any inconvenience our hours cause. We put a lot of thought into them over the years. This is where kind of defend yourself. We found that these hours work best for our customers and for us. Thanks for sharing your feedback, though. We'll certainly take it into consideration going forward. If you don't mind me asking, have you had the chance to try any of our other sandwiches? So, and then after that, they changed it to a 5-star. Okay, I'm changing to 5 stars because the owner responded to my review. Huge kudos for valuing customer feedback. Still trying to get the hours at the last part, but basically that's pretty much all I have. I just think that your customers will notice, and something to take note of. So,
JD, you're up.
Alrighty.
Where is it? Okay.
Mind pulling it up?
Let's do this.
There we go.
Yeah. I can do it.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. How's everybody doing? Good. My name is JD. My company is called Social Matters, and I'll go through a series of quick slides, tell you a little bit about my relationship with social media. Obviously, use social media. My previous company, so Social Matters, is out of the Capital Factory Accelerator Program. We started the company in January, went through the program that they have, got some lead mentors, blah, blah, and so we're kind of off and running. Previously, I had a social media agency in politics, so I was in DC, and our customers were like the Heritage Foundation, the House Republican Conference, and we were doing whatever they told us to do. Like, we had some technology, we're trying to figure stuff out, and halfway through figuring stuff out, we realized that some of the stuff that we had technology for was great, but then we were manually doing things in the marketing automation space that expanded beyond politics. So we kind of did I wouldn't call it a pivot, but we did a rethink, same team, new company. It's called Social Media, or Social Matters. So give me an idea. What is everybody's, what do you guys do on social media? Are you here by yourself, for a company? Let's just go around the room real quick, 10 seconds. I know what you do. Yep. Great company, by the way. What do you do?
I do marketing and social media for a travel company.
Okay, here locally? Okay.
I work for the IoT startup.
Okay.
Just trying to find out, what IoT startups do with social media.
Internet of Things, right?
Right.
Do you run the social media? By
now
default,
Yeah,
yes.
for now I do.
Okay, all right, great.
I did PR for UT Austin.
Oh, awesome. The whole UT Austin?
All by myself. The engineering school.
Awesome, cool. What about you, sir?
I'm a realtor, so pretty much just for myself. Yeah.
Are you with
I'm
like
with Urban
CBRE?
Squared Realty.
Which one?
Urban Squared Realty.
Got it.
So #1 Yelp reviewed in town.
There you go.
I'm trying to do an interesting thing. It's plugging social media to the medical area, doctors, because there's such a crying need in information to get doctors, patients connected. There doesn't seem to be anything like this, and I want to go on the social media side, plug it in with the medical side, the doctors, the patients, X-rays, MRIs, the whole thing. They don't do that now. It's like, they're still throwing paper airplanes at each other.
Yeah, we've talked with Seton a little bit and their social media team. Now that's probably in the middle. That's not doctors and devices, I guess, but they're trying to do a lot of interesting things on social as well. What about you, sir?
I have the nerve to write a book on organizational certification.
Okay.
And so I wanted to see how to get a given social page to the first page of any page in 7 days. And so it's more than work with Meditex and then actual social media. But once you have one and you have an identity, to move it on the street you want to be is.
Okay, cool. What about you, sir?
I'm working out of the Capital Factory right now, and I co-founded a company that's building an app for professional photographers to use.
What does the app do?
It allows for the photographer to shoot wirelessly over 4G and instantly deliver the photo to their customer for purchase.
Really? Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, there's a use case for that. Yes. What about you in the hat, sir?
My name is Joey Salcedo. I've spent 10 years as a commercial photographer and now still do that, but also own a couple e-commerce businesses and an e-com fulfillment company.
I've got a really cool photography app that I can tell you about. Yes.
I do social media for startup games.
For startup games? Awesome.
My name's Beth. I work for a interactive trivia company that's based out of California. However, I handle the whole Texas market, so I'm the community marketing manager, trying to get millennials into bars and restaurants to play our trivia. It's Buzz Time Central Texas.
Do you handle the social yourself?
I do. Well, for the Texas, we have a regional page.
Yeah.
Corporate does something, but they handle like just overall in general. And my customers, my players in Texas or Austin or wherever here in Texas, they don't care what's happening in the Florida market. They want to know what trivia games I'm doing, what promotions.
What handle? Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, Austin Buzz Time.
Nice. Okay, we'll get back to that. All right.
I'm Scott. Partner and I are running a game platform startup. We're just getting it out there and releasing it, and looking to make sure we're not doing anything too embarrassing.
Okay, cool.
I am a pastry chef and I am starting up a bakery here, so I'm trying to figure out how I can do social media for that.
Okay.
My name.
Awesome. Well, okay, so this is how I work. Quality conversations, quality conversions, that's what we're going to talk about today. I came up with this deck. I've used this deck, a variation of this deck at different talks or panels. This is how I come up with it. Basically, what this means is I feel like our team, we just have a lot of ideas. We're early, we've got beta customers, whatever. But we just have tons of stuff up here, and we really like the QA. So I'm going to just kind of tell you kind of what we think about. Some of it is out there, some of it is applicable. But then later on, you should just ask questions. The main important thing that we like to talk about is that right now, currently, social media marketers are pretty much broadcast only. Okay, so what does that mean? If you watch a television show like The Voice, so I think on social media, marketers is like marketers for TV, right? They want you to retweet and spread the message. So they come up with great content like The Voice, and then they push you to other channels so that they can close you. So if you watched a commercial during The Voice, right? Alec Baldwin cannot sell you anything in this case. There's no direct channel, unless you have like a really awesome TV that's got like, you know, all of the buy buttons. But most of the time, Alec Baldwin is pushing you to a website, right? They're leveraging The Voice, the eyeballs, and then they're pushing you out and around. That's what social media is. We call that also like billboard advertising, right? Pushing you somewhere else. We think at Social Matters, we think that can be improved. So this is how we think the funnel is today. Social media marketers use social media as a broadcast medium. So they're always at the top. Lots of leads, always at the top, trying to funnel you somewhere else. But what that means is they can't get to the bottom. So how do you get to the bottom? We think that you can not only broadcast, spread your message, but also kind of sell on social media. And it's not only we. I mean, I'm pretty confident in saying in the next 2-3 years, you're going to be able to buy stuff off of Twitter, off of Facebook, off of Pinterest. That's already starting to roll out. I can send multiple articles around this. But to get to the bottom, okay, this is what we 100% focus on is direct message. So the DM and Twitter, Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn and Mail, we're Twitter first, but all those are coming out Pinterest. But the DM is really important. And why is the DM important? Is because it's bidirectional. You can ask a question and the responder can tell you a response. This is really important for customer service, right? So if I go on Twitter and I, complain about my flight and my bag, well, UA right now, if I go on Twitter and I say, at United Airlines, you lost my bag again, you guys suck, right? UA is not going to reply to that tweet and say, oh, what was your flight number, right? What's your name? And we'll solve the problem. No, they've got to get that into the DM. And then in the DM, then that's where you can problem solve. Okay, so the direct message is super, super, super important. For example, the last minute and a half I've been broadcasting, right? But before this, I was in a DM conversation with you guys, one-on-one. And so I can actually fine-tune a little bit what I'm going to talk about today. And that's kind of, our thought process in this. So I like to kind of equate it back to, what's the problem, yo? So what's the problem, yo? I mean, okay, that's great. We did a survey, 200 social media marketers. And again, our first channel is Twitter, so we're asking about Twitter stuff. How effective are you at generating leads from Twitter? So anybody that's doing marketing, thinking about doing marketing, straight up, how effective are you at getting leads? I mean, it could be Twitter, it could be Facebook, et cetera, but I'm not talking about retweets and I'm not talking about eyeballs. I'm talking about real, quantified, scheduled a demo, gave me their email, downloaded a white paper, this type of leads. And you can see that majority say that they don't generate, or they struggle, or average, or would like more, right? And then we ask the next question, how valuable would it be for an automated tool that just surfaces high quality leads to you? And everybody's like, yeah, sure, that's awesome. I like that. But when you put it into a real contextual problem, it really looks like this. So Joe owns Joe's Coffee Shop, which could be a pastry shop, which could be a new photography or a game. And Joe knows that lots of people are going to come through for ACL. So he's kind of on the tweets, and he's like, hey, there's a cool hashtag ACL that's going to happen. So he wants to attract visitors to his coffee shop during ACL, period. That's it. He doesn't really care about branding. He doesn't need to do everything else. He just knows that I can increase sales during ACL. I don't have a budget for TV or print. I need to go on social media and get this done. But unfortunately, every time Joe goes on social media, he's told that he's got to put up activity 24/7. He has to put up things that go viral. He's got to find influencers. For me, this is super hard. I mean, for anyone that's small business, this is super hard. For medium large enterprise, this is you're lucky if you get something to go viral. That's the definition of viral, right? This is not formulaic. You could do maybe activity all the time, but it's not great activity. So we like to say Joe doesn't have the time or media to build a social media strategy, right? He doesn't have the expertise. He doesn't know it. What he actually wants is a simpler, automated way of finding and attracting ACL visitors. That's it, period. And we think that we can bring a solution to the market for that. And we will take, I'm not going to show you how everything works today. That would go super long. But if you're interested, just send me a note at Social Matters or follow us. But we take techniques from email and we bring it over. So techniques like we actually grade every single social media prospect that comes through a campaign. So like hashtag ACL, like we would actually start monitoring hashtag ACL for Joe. And then we would say, okay, Joe wants people that are located in Austin, right? Because that's the whole point. They probably follow Starbucks. From their bio, we can tell their age group. So then 10,000 people tweet at that hashtag, we'll grade everyone, A, B, C, D, F. And that is a simple filter to see who I should have a one-on-one conversation with. We score activity. So did they follow me? Did they retweet me? Did they reply with me? Points, 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 points. We send messages, nurturing campaigns. One thing that is so ridiculous about how social media is today, right? Social media is the epitome of trying to marry before you date, right? And so everything is, here's what I do, here's why it's awesome, buy my stuff, okay? But you don't do that in regular marketing, you don't do that in email. There's drip campaign, I give you some stuff, 3 times, and then you buy it on the 4th time. Social media hasn't advanced to that in an automated way. And so we're bringing that to the market. And then finally, everything can be automated and streamlined. Works on email, works on social. This is where it's headed. So, and I think this is where it's headed because Twitter, Facebook, they got to continue making money. And marketers haven't figured out how to make money on social yet. And once they do, there'll be tools like ours and others along the way that will bring Joe the solution to his problem, right? Because I'm telling you, people that come through ACL would, I would think that a significant portion of people that come through ACL would go to Joe's coffee shop for a discount, for a last minute, whatever, flash sale. Joe just cannot connect that, right? Twitter isn't connecting it for him. And so we're coming in and we're gonna connect it for him. Here's a customer quote. Honestly, Mike, this is a law office using Twitter. Mike is one of our team members. I've worked on the phones for years in various inside sales, customer service, appointment setting, and other phone-related capacities using Social Matters. This was the easiest experience I've had with getting the contact info for the decision maker, correct person to talk to, and actually have them come to us. All right, so it's a wide space right now. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm about to wrap up. So this is going to be the end. Here's the big fun. This is from a cab downstairs, and I took it probably 2 weeks ago in their sign. And I use this because I think that social media marketing is going to be more sophisticated, because this is very unsophisticated. And I usually have a bowl of candy. I forgot about that. But yes, next time there will be a bowl of candy. If anybody can answer why this is unsophisticated, you would have gotten a Reese's Pieces today. Anybody, any thoughts? Okay, so I've seen this too, like walking down Congress. There's a pizza, like you can walk into a pizza joint and there's a big sign right in their lobby that says, "Follow us on Twitter," with a Twitter bird. Round Rock Express. Now, We Are Summer is kind of cool. All right, that's hashtag. There's Twitter, there's Facebook. So how do I find this person? Like how do I find roundrockexpress.com? There's no handle there, right? There's no URL. How do I do this? Somebody paid for a billboard and it's running around the city right now, spending money directing people to the Twitter logo. And maybe We Are Summer, but again, that's a little bit too far. So that's why I put signs going, this is not a great, to me this is not a great display of advertising, but I think this is. Saw this, like on my bus to Capital Factory through campus. This is awesome. For parking updates, follow UT Austin. Did you do this? Okay, so this is awesome. Clear, concise messaging. I'm gonna follow this handle because I can get parking updates. If UT uses social matters, then you actually would think, like, we can make this happen. Let's say 5,000 people follow UT Austin Parking. Every time there's new events and new announcements, we can have one-on-one automated messaging with people that follow UT Parking, and autoresponders, so if they have a question about tonight's parking restrictions for a game or something, we can respond in real time. This is kind of why, that's also why I was asking the question, you know, if you guys have a localized handle for Austin, right? Because people, I would think that this is a better user experience for me than if UT tried to drive parking updates through hashtag or at University of Texas, right? This is a much better experience, and I predict this is where Twitter is headed. Thank you very much. That's it.
Great. So our last speaker just showed up. Great.
Yeah, I was running late.
It's okay. This is Mr. Jay Salcedo. He's a commercial photographer based here in Austin. He co-founded Austin Design and Collaboration Studio Public School. Most recently, he founded Guest of Texas, an online clothing company. Guys, he's the Texas humor guy. Have you ever followed that on Twitter? 500,000 followers around the world, media followers around the world, and he also has Salcedo Industries, which handles fulfillment for e-commerce businesses. So take it away, Jay.
Yeah, so I'm probably the, well, I'm not even probably, I am the least prepared presenter today because I'm a creative person, and the organized person in my family is my wife. So I'm here, and I'm going to just tell you some anecdotes and a little bit about a lesson that my mom taught me. And the first lesson that she taught me was that no one gives a shit about what you have to say. So I've used that as the basis for essentially marketing myself and all of our companies. And when I first got out of school, I went to UT, and I knew I wanted to work in advertising. And the commercial advertising, or the commercial photography field, is incredibly competitive. Most of the photographers who are doing the biggest ads for GSM or White & Kennedy, or really any of the agencies around the country, are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars advertising themselves. They're friends with all the art directors, the creative directors. They grew up with those guys and girls as they came up through the agencies. So it was really easy for them to get all of the work. So for someone like myself that had just gotten out of school, barely had enough equipment to shoot half of the assignments that I was getting, it was incredibly difficult to get anyone to pay attention to me. You know, I emailed Texas Monthly, who I think actually was in this office for a long time, this specific suite for a long time. I emailed Leslie Baldwin for years and couldn't get her to answer my emails. And emailed all these different agencies, couldn't get any of the art directors to return my emails or phone calls or anything like that. So I was officing with some guys in East Austin, and I told them, you know, what I think the problem is that we're going after an audience that is all, you know, they're having their attention pulled in a ton of different ways by a ton of different photographers, a lot of other illustrators, designers, whatever. And there were 7 of us that were officing together at public school at the time, and we started a blog. We thought, well, rather than just creating jbsalcedo.com and codyhalton.com and caseyden.com, why don't we create a place for people to actually congregate every day over their coffee at their computer and to look at work? And, you know, we'll essentially do, you know, kind of exactly the beginning of your lecture about how most channels are, you know, hey, we'll give you 60, 70% content, and then 30% of the time we're going to try to close a sale. So we modeled our blog around that concept. And rather than us have to go to all these other channels and say, post my content, post my new project that I did for whatever agency, we'll control that channel. We will be the people that create the content that people will come to, and then subsequently, when we want to post our own stuff, we can. But if it's all about us all the time, it's rare that we're going to get people to come back and read about, you know, whatever project it is. I won't have enough content because I don't do enough new stuff every day. So, you know, along with what you're saying, it's very difficult to come up with compelling content about your company or yourself all the time. So the way we solved that was by creating content around all the people in our industry that we respected and subscribing to the mentality that high tides raise all the ships. What inevitably happened was that we created a lot of goodwill with other people who had similar businesses to ours. So they would help promote our work sometimes. And then when we went to, for example, on the West Coast, we went to a bunch of agencies to show our portfolios. And a lot of those guys that were high up and wouldn't return our phone calls knew who we were or what our work was and said, "Oh, I've actually followed you for a while." And so we jumped ahead in line in a lot of ways by controlling the congregation place or the water cooler that people in our industry were congregating around. So that helped me a lot. I did photography for about 10 years, and then to basically try to smooth out the ebb and flow of income via commercial advertising, which is tied so heavily to not having a recession. I started looking at some things, and a friend of mine had started a couple of content sites. They originally were the guys that founded lamebook.com, which was like the first Facebook fail blog type thing, and they ended up getting sued by Facebook, and it was this huge thing. They ended up getting Facebook to back down and got all this press, and they had this gigantic audience. So they started a ICANN has cheeseburger style company, and they own like 5 or 6 different web properties. And at some point, one of the guys was talking about how into Texas I was. So I founded Texas Humor based on a recommendation from him. And I can attest to the fact that it is incredibly difficult to come up with compelling content. What we post about is essentially really simple 140 character bits of satire about living in the state, be it filling up on chips and salsa before your Mexican food arrives, or wanting a pet chupacabra, or anything else like that. What we found initially, especially, was that pretty much everything we created was viral. I mean, everything that we were posting was getting retweeted like crazy because Texans are rabid about Texas pride. And for about a year and a half, that was all we did. We just posted that. It was pretty much me and one intern who was helping me. And we were monetizing our feed via like sponsored links via mylikes.com. But we were having a lot of struggles depending upon them solely as being the source of income. They could basically change the rules at any time, and then our business was kaput. So we started to retool it, and the problem that we were trying to solve was A, how to pay ourselves, and B, I was tired of seeing the same Texas-related clothing at like Buc-ee's and all the crappy gift stores around the state. So I took my experience in design and advertising, and we came up with a few different designs, which, is this connected to the internet?
It is.
Yeah, can I hop on here real quick?
Yeah.
Let's see. Is
my icons will pop up if you
okay.
hover to the right, and then
Sweet.
pulled up me.
Here it goes.
Yeah, here we go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. So the original thing that started building the big audience for us, aside from just the feed itself, was this design that I did. We have a joke that the Texans basically view the world as being consisting of 1 of 2 places, either Texas or ain't Texas. And so I did this design on a just scrap piece of paper and posted it on Instagram, and it just, people went apeshit for it. And we sold it on a website called Spreadshirt. It was just like vinyl iron-on stuff. Yeah, it's not really that great of a site. Sorry if anybody works there. But so we decided to bring everything in-house. We ran this out of our garage. My wife and I were like folding shirts and getting them printed in San Marcos, folding shirts, shipping them out. We called a local fulfillment company that I won't say who they are, but we called somebody here in town. The sales guy was kind of an asshole, frankly, and told me, "You're too small. I understand that you have a comparable audience size to another client of ours, but you don't have any sales data, and we're not really sure whether or not you're going to be worth it, so call me in 6 months when you are." And I told him,
frankly, fuck you, I'm going to just figure it out on my own. So we started doing fulfillment ourselves. A year and a half later now, we fulfill roughly 100 orders a day of our own business, and we fulfill about 60 orders for other e-commerce businesses, and we've just onboarded 3 other clients. Our specialty is small businesses. We focus on a lot of people who are just starting out and don't want to have the fixed costs of like monthly rentals for leasing their stuff sitting on a shelf. So we structure our fees in a way that is conducive to only charging you when your stuff actually starts selling. And then in 2 or 3 months, when you do realize that you have revenue being generated, we restructure our costs into a more traditional format so you can save money in the long term. But still our bread and butter, the main business is our Texas humor business. And the clothing brand is called Yes to Texas. And we do everything from just like, the basic, Ain't Texas stuff to, just kind of random other little kitschy things like this. The problem we were trying to solve is I just got sick of seeing the same shirts at every gift store that I went to in the state. And we wanted something that was comfortable, wasn't printed on like 100% Gildan tee that you get at every, relay race here in town on a Saturday. We wanted stuff that was quality, that felt like you could buy it at an Urban Outfitters or anywhere else for that matter. So we have a higher price point than what pretty much every other Texas-related clothing or Texas gift store sells. But even with that, we built such a passionate audience around the products that people are willing to pay for these specific products. Our average order amount is about $47 to $50 a checkout. Our conversion rate blows most other retailers out of the water. We do between 3.5% and 7% every day. And during the holiday season, we convert between 15 and 25% on an average day. It took us about 15 months to reach $1 million in sales. And this year we're projecting about 1.2 million for the 12 months in 2015, and it's all just based off of Texas pride. Now I'm going to log into a service that I just signed up for recently that I freaking love because it's taking a lot of the manual labor out of what we did. But again, the same thing that I was talking about earlier with regard to not just talking about yourself, but talking about the community is one of the biggest things that we've tried to subscribe to with this business as well. We are purely content. We let's see, you guys that are paying attention or can have a photographic memory will now see our password, but. Let's see.
While you're typing up there, have a quick.
Oh yeah, I guess.
You
Yeah.
mentioned about the Texas pride thing. I'm from Illinois. I from the outside heard about the Texas Eagle from an uncle who lived down here. My point to you is, you have maybe do some T-shirts about they put up there about different cities like Dallas. Every one of these cities has their own personality. Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, obviously. With NASA or Austin with a picture of a laptop on there. That way you also instill a level of individual pride in these cities. People walk around with T-shirts and used to about Dallas.
Well, and that's actually our long-term goal is to do more localized content or like localized products. We do get, so these were, I guess, some new products that were posted today. So we'll go ahead and approve that for our galleries. But to give you an idea of scale with regard to the community that we built, I'll show you just purely. Oops. Sorry, there. Is it double? Like it keeps double clicking.
Yeah, it's really sensitive. Check
yeah, sorry.
Can I talk me through it? I can probably do it.
Here we go. Yeah, it's way more sensitive than my Mac. Okay, so this is a small smattering of the content that gets produced every day by the people who follow us. So one of the things that we try to do, because we have such a big audience, and because everyone nowadays is egotistical, myself included, is when we're posting ads, we try to create, the carrot for everyone to buy something from us is that they might have the opportunity to be shared in front of our audience. Now, that's not always, the biggest thing for everyone, because not everyone's going to have 350,000 followers on Twitter. So that may not be the biggest carrot, and it may not be the best marketing plan for your specific business. But with us, everyone, a lot of our customers buy these things knowing that it's a big portion of what we do. And when I post an ad on our store or on one of our feeds, I'll generally post it and then within a couple of seconds retweet a couple of other people who have purchased something. So that way, as you're scrolling through Twitter, you'll get hit with two little, speed bumps of, pretty girl wearing something and a nice looking guy, with one of our shirts. And then right after that, it's like, oh, well, funny that you really like those shirts because I can tell you exactly where to get them. And it's been a pretty successful method for us. But even so, again, to reiterate on his point as well, nothing is formulaic. Something that's worked for us for 2 or 3 months in a while will eventually stop working. The reason we had to move away from the My Likes monetization of our feed was because eventually people got privy to the fact that they were clicking on sponsored content and they just stopped doing it because they knew that even though it was a 10 best whatever things to do with bacon, it was still not something that was relevant to them. With this, when Twitter cards first came out, we were all about Twitter cards, and we were posting our stuff in there because Twitter told us, the click-through rates are significantly higher, the engagement is significantly higher, that's the way that you should go. And when we first started doing that, that's what we did see, that our click-through rates were through the roof compared to just attaching a link and attaching a single image. But over time, those click-through rates started going down, even when we changed up the different products that we were showing. And when we switched back to the traditional way of attaching an image, we saw that the rates went back up. So, ultimately, I think that what a lot of people don't realize is that it's not just creating content, it's changing the way that you try to interact with people. DMing is incredibly important. It's been so crucial to the experience that our customers have had. People know that they can reach out to us, even with a gigantic audience, and we're gonna always respond back to them. Same thing on Facebook, same thing on Instagram. The fact that we interact with our followers is a big reason, I believe, that that we do have so many repeat customers. I mean, roughly 40% of all of our business is from repeat customers, and some of our most valuable customers have purchased, close to about $1,000 in total product from us over only about a year and a half. I mean, it's not even really that long that we've been in business. Our average or the customer lifetime value is about $75. So, I mean, for a t-shirt business, when you compare us to Snorg Tees or Busted Tees and a lot of these one-off places that people are just buying kitschy stuff, although it is a kitschy product, we have a ton of passionate followers who are willing to come back. And what we're doing now, we're not really consulting as like an agency necessarily, but all of our clients that come to us on the fulfillment side of the business, we essentially give them the keys to the castle and explain to them how we've been successful in building our audience. Most of our clients are social media based e-commerce businesses. So we've seen, as they've kind of followed along in our footsteps and done a lot of the things that we do, they've increased their conversion rates and increased their engagement with their customers. So, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, not very organized. Just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown on what we do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Long live Texas.
So great. Cool. So we'll open it up now for Q&A. If anyone has questions for specific speakers. So I realized I didn't get to introduce myself. My name is Ashley Jennings, and I'm one of the co-founders, producers down on the 5th floor of CF Studios. Again, this is part of our launch week for CF Studios. We have this vision of merging the media world with the startup world here in Austin. My background is network news. I spent about 3.5 years up in New York, working for ABC News as a field producer, and then I helped launch Al Jazeera America, the core production team there. I traveled for a bit after that, photographing across Asia and Europe, and then landed back in Austin, where I joined up with Josh Rubin, who kind of planted the seed for this vision of us taking over the middle of the country. In the media scene, there's no reason we shouldn't be here in Austin because it's booming and there's so many stories to be told. And that's kind of why we're hosting this week, so that startups, or companies, no matter what phase you are, in building your brand, the importance of storytelling, and your brand is a story, and social media and building buzz around your brand through messaging and whatnot is an important part of that story. So I'm so thankful for all of our speakers today. If you want to talk specifically about social media and the news, feel free to find me afterwards. I've done a lot of that. I ran an account at ABC for a little while, and how to kind of watch for the viral videos, what it takes to go viral on social media. But for the most part, if we don't have any questions or anything we want to discuss, then thank you for coming. Check out the rest of our events throughout the week. We're talking pitching tomorrow. We have some great AMAs on animation, different video work. Down at CF Studios, we do everything from commercial spots, Kickstarter videos, angel list pitches. I do media consulting, media strategy, press bookings. I coach CEOs on how to get in front of the camera. So check us out on the 5th floor. And again, come to all of our events if you can this week. There's food back there on the back table. Please make sure you sign in. I want to see a highlighter in your name. And feel free to congregate amongst yourselves. So thank you for coming, y'all.